We all have to observe 3 simple rules. If you're not working on it, shield it, either in a bag or inside a computer system. If it's not shielded, don't touch it unless you're grounded. And if it's not shielded, don't let non-conductive plastics get close to it. We want the personal computer to be as reliable as the toaster. But if it does come in for repair, we want to be sure it goes home fixed. It's up to you.
You know, even from personal experience, I've had a lot of my own equipment, and I'm not working day in, day out, passing a lot of equipment through my hands. It's what I own and use. I've had a lot of it fail for ESD reasons. I mean, one of the key architecture features of the Apple II that was a huge plus for the whole industry getting kicked off actually came about because of an accidental ESD experience.
Tell us about it.
Sure. The first design of the Apple II said the cheapest memory chips are 1 megahertz. A TV line scans across for 40 microseconds of video and 25 microseconds of blanking. So I gave the video circuits, in the first Apple II design, gave the video circuits 40 microseconds in a row, 40 cycles of RAM. And then I gave the microprocessor 25. And I thought holding the microprocessor off for 40 microseconds was plenty safe. All the specs assured it. The engineers on the phone assured me that it could go for 2 milliseconds. But the Apple IIs I was demonstrating, they would fail. All of a sudden, the processor would go bad. The 6502 would go bad. So I'd plug a new one in, and it would work fine. And I had this dead 6502, but for some reason, it still worked in an Apple I. It was a very weak effect that caused it not to work in my Apple II design, but it did work in the Apple I design. Well, it forced me to figure out that the electrostatic discharge, one time I actually noticed a spark, and right when it went bad, and I knew that that's what led me on to it. Really was some sort of electrostatic discharge was not destroying the chip, but it was ruining a parameter that wasn't clearly specified in any data sheets. And I finally determined that, okay, you cannot hold this processor off for 40 microseconds. You can when it's brand new, but you cannot a week later. Every single one I used, you could not a week later. And that led me to search for the fact that now the 2 megahertz RAMs were inexpensive, and by going 2 megahertz, we could have video processor, video processor, video processor. It's a very famous characteristic of the Apple II that helped make a lot of its architecture work so well and give it such great performance. And it came about because I was trying to solve an ESD-related problem. ESD protection, when it's a disastrous failure, it's spotted instantly. You know, we can all put a weight on that. One of the worst things about ESD failures is that sometimes they're partial. They are intermittent. They cause a computer that will occasionally run for a few hours and then crash, but it can't be traced. You try to run all the tests on it, everything seems to run fine. These intermittent problems are the worst ones. They're the hardest ones for technicians or normal people to deal with. You can go for several months before usually the problem gets worse, is the only way you ever do get it rectified. If you have a sloppiness about your whole approach, eventually it's going to lead to some of the more disastrous problems, particularly later in your own career.